In a game about wonder and terror, knowing is not something you really want players to come in with. After finishing the 12 hours currently in early access, I think familiarity is becoming Subnautica 2's biggest challenge. Now, I want to be clear, in many ways this game is a perfect sequel to the first. The visual jump to Unreal Engine is stunning, while keeping the identity of the first. The improved quality of life lets you hit a flow that was constantly bogged down by storage management in the original. And the dynamism of the biomes makes the ocean feel alive in a way it never has before. However, Subnautica is not Call of Duty, and unfortunately for a game like this, more but better is not enough to surpass the first. Subnautica has always been a click-on-rocks adventure that sold itself wholly through its atmosphere. There's something hardwired into us that makes the open ocean induce equal parts terror and awe. Add massive alien sea creatures on top of that, and you're approaching a religious experience for the amygdala. The premise is gold for immersion, but what's the best solution for fear? Exposure therapy. And at this point, that's what the previous two entries in the series have become for the game's core appeal. Rather than deeply alien environments, biomes become resource checklists, and within a few oxygen tanks, I can tell exactly what the area has to offer. I've been trained to see the game behind the illusion, but the illusion is the part that hooked me. The creatures are much the same. Despite a fish being twice my size and roaring menacingly at me, I know its bite will at worst be a nuisance, and I'll have plenty of time to flee before I'm in real danger. In Subnautica 1, it took me hours to realize the sawtooth wasn't a serious threat, because I avoided it off its appearance alone. For the marrow breach, the most I would do is slightly adjust my course as I swam past it. Now, Subnautica 2 is harder than the first. The creatures are more aggressive, the game is slower to give you oxygen tanks, and there's no stasis rifle or knife to fend off predators with. Yet, despite all that, the game feels so much easier because I know the formula at this point. This leads to a strange tension that I began to feel about 4 to 5 hours in, and stuck with me till the end of the game. I could feel that I was playing the game too fast. I kept thinking, I'm crushing through this content that took a lot of work to develop. And going to each distress signal, I had this rising dread that I was about to hit the end of early access wall. The game actually surprised me with its size. I didn't anticipate the second continent, and it was a brief moment of feeling that expansive sense of possibility. Now, perhaps you could accuse me of optimizing the fun out of the game or not taking my time to enjoy the zones, and frankly, I'd have to agree. But can you blame me for playing a game that I know too well correctly? Trust me, I wish I could slow down and soak in these environments. The art team knocked it out of the park. Some biomes I barely remember, or really only explored as I was coming back to write this review. You can really feel the level of curation the devs put into each area of the map, and that did not go unnoticed by me. But that's kind of the problem. The zones were too curated for the content they facilitated. The art, environments, and progression never get a chance to breathe. If the gameplay purpose of a biome is 2 distress beacons, silver, and 5 blueprints to acquire, I'll be done with it in 20 minutes. And then it's dead space for me to traverse through. Beautiful, but dead. And how many months of concentrated dev time were those 20 minutes I just cruised through? A month? 3? That's when I realized that this formula, this genre I love so dearly, has diminishing returns. It's not just nostalgia for playing Subnautica 1 the first time, and Subnautica Below Zero, and Subnautica 2. It's nostalgia for my first encounter with Subnautica, when I didn't understand it at all. I don't think the situation is hopeless. I didn't write this review to complain. Instead, I feel burdened and energized because I do see a way forward. but it's not the set-piece approach that Subnautica 2 and Below Zero before it seem to be taking. Compare the Collector Leviathan to the Reaper. You first encounter the Collector exploring the tadpole pen's base. You'll likely see or hear it off in the distance. Then, when sent to the alien ruins, the game sends you directly through its lair, leading to a designed encounter or chase, where you race to the other side of the ravine or hide amongst the coral to cross. Now let's look at the Reaper. The first encounter you're likely to have is when you go to explore the Aurora. It's off in the distance, deeper than you have to go, with no music announcing it. You see it, and that's it. The game doesn't send you near one either through distress signals. You either come across them by wandering to the crash site or entering the dunes with the famous line,
"Detecting multiple Leviathan-class life forms in the region. Are you certain whatever you're doing is worth it?"
The game actively discourages you from venturing too close to them, and it felt like they gave it enough fangs to back that up. The Collector has the opposite approach. By forcing me to interact with it, I realize it's not particularly deadly or smart. I saw a video talking about adaptive AI supposedly programmed into the Collector Leviathan, and someone left a funny comment. They said, "It can't learn my patterns if I have no idea what I'm doing." And the more I think about it, the more I realize that encapsulates the magic of Subnautica 1. It didn't realize it was a terrifying game, and because it didn't, the fear was emergent. It was systemic. It was stumbled onto by trying new things in this goldmine of a premise, and building out this alien world as best they could. And therein lies the solution. In game development, some mechanics produce disproportionate emotional impact. The Reaper Leviathan was one of those. That's why it's the unofficial mascot of the series at this point. It was not one more Leviathan, it was the first one that created danger. It was a step change in what this world could do to you and what you had to do to survive. Subnautica 2 needs to find its step change. The adaptation system is such a cool addition to Subnautica 2 because it ties gameplay functionality to the most compelling part of the game, the alien life forms. However, I think it's only scratched the surface of its potential. Imagine if, instead of minor increases to food and water or speed, adaptations let you adopt real survival skills of the prey we encountered. What if we dialed up the intelligence and danger of the predators and at the same time the resourcefulness of their prey? And by proxy, you. For example, imagine a biome with an omnivore leviathan, blind but with a sharp sense of smell. That can deftly maneuver its habitat, and it's happy to chase you well outside of it at terrifying top speeds. However, the biome isn't devoid of life. There are a host of massive cactus-like plants, and slow-moving sea cows with coarse skin that swims between them. How are they not eaten? Well, upon observation, you find that the sea cows can absorb and release the scent of this cactus plant, deterring the Leviathan and giving them a chance to race to the protection of the next one. After scanning them, you're able to adopt this same passive mutation, giving you a brief period after leaving one of these cactus plants where your scent is masked and you can travel safely. Now, this is the same type of story the artists already tell, so what's the difference? Well, this one matters to the player, and they ignore it at their own peril. Maybe they can navigate the biome just running from the Leviathan or avoiding it. But if they spend the time to explore and study the ecology, they're rewarded by being able to exist under the nose of this Leviathan, provided they equip the passive adaptation and mimic the behavior of the sea cow. Imagine setting up your base with planters at every entrance, growing your own cactus plant, so you're safe when you step outside. This is just one example, but it points toward a system design where the world is the main character and the players find their place within it. I love Subnautica, clearly. I love the IP, I love this world. I want to spend more time in it. I enjoyed my time in Subnautica 2, and I think the current offering serves as an excellent extended tutorial to onboard new players and whet the appetite of veterans. That being said, I fear that if the journey to the World Tree doesn't throw some serious curveballs, myself and the veteran players like me will be left with a 25-hour nostalgic journey, and that's about it. From what I've seen from Subnautica 2, that doesn't do this world justice. The beauty, immersion, and genuinely fun building and gathering loops deserve a world that even a grizzled veteran like me can spend some time living in.